Good morning. Right in this moment, it is the day before tomorrow's painting, but incredibly, I have already chosen the sketch. Here it is. Not this bullshit. This one. It is so boxy, I love it. However, the Formula 1 race is gonna start in 1 hour or something, and so I have 1 hour more or less to plan a color scheme out of these and these gigantic mess. So these plus these 2 cans are the full cans I can use for an outline. So when I have to pick up a color scheme, usually my workflow doesn't start from the cans, but from the bucket paint. Keeping in mind the full colors that I have, I think that I will use this bucket paint, which is the turquoise one I already used in this piece. Now, newspapers. Yay! Let's check the condition of this bucket paint since it's been untouched for 2 weeks. Vamos facim sarabsugo o biloglaco. Che schifo. What the smell is coming out of this shit. But the color is nice, which is the only thing that counts. The very next step is to understand if this outline color actually fits with that, I think so. And also I am choosing this bucket paint because of this color, which is perfect to make on it overlapping shadows or just effects. Yeah, it's perfect. So now I have to think about a background, and with that greenish turquoise, I'd like to use some violets, but these ones are the only ones that I have and they are too dark. I don't have any pink, leaving out this beast, but it is too bright, way too bright. So I will have to use more bucket paint. In the specific, I could use these yellow. Yeah, they should kind of work together. Enough bucket paint mixing for today. Not much is changed at the end. By the way, this footage is that old that the Grand Prix in question is the first of the 2024 season. Now, when Bent from the future is editing, the next race is gonna be the number 17, and Verstappen didn't win for the last 6 races in a row. Time flies! However, since the most of you may not be into F1, let's go ahead with graffiti. But if you are an F1 fan, please leave a comment. I'll feel less alone out here. So, writers, good morning. Yesterday I even forgot to say, hi writers, my name is Vent and welcome in this new graffiti video, which is another episode of Go Cheap or Go Home. Today's morning I am at the usual legal spot, which is very usual as its name tells. Today's spot of the wall that I need to cover is this one. Well, this very nice piece in my opinion is from Beads, an historical writer from Naples, the city where I live. So first of all, massive respect to him. I really appreciate his works nowadays and also all the things that he has done for the culture here in this city. The piece is as nice as problematic to cover because as you can see it has like 500 colors inside. Usually I sketch crossover, I mean not pre-painting the wall to save as much bucket paint and so money as possible. If I sketch crossover on this piece, well, it will drive me crazy. So I will pre-paint this wall a little bit. Let's do it fastly. Oh yeah. Meanwhile, I wait this beautiful coat of paint to dry. It's time for the best moment of the day. Panini, 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 panini. This time with sausages and friarielli. Probably the most of you have no clue about what friarielli is. They are a typical Neapolitan vegetable. They look like some kind of spinach, but the taste is completely different. It's amazing. I cannot explain it. So if you come here to visit the local and friendly event, I will let you try the local and tasty friarielli. So I have done a compositing. I overlapped the photo of the sketch on the photo of the wall so that I know more or less where to place my piece in order to put it in the middle of the wall. I mean, this is not necessary, but this trick makes putting the sketch on the wall way more easy for my brain. I need to push the letter V and so hold the piece a little bit more upwards, because this ending, which is this one you're seeing on the sketch, it isn't the lowest of the whole piece, but on the wall it is already too downwards. And so the arrow or the half heart would touch the ground and I don't like it. As you can see, I don't have many leftovers with me, so I'm basically trying Nova's workflow, using a can to sketch, and he uses a can to erase the first lines that he doesn't like or he doesn't need. In my case, I'm using the bucket paint because I don't have another can. Smo's workflow, but on a budget. And I will try to keep using this workflow till the end of the sketch. Let's see, my dear friend Smo Nova, if your workflow fits with my brain. Uè, salve!
Com'erano i panini?
Buonissimi. Hai fatto buonissimi quelli friarielli.
Forse un po' salati.
No, erano perfetti. Erano super saporiti.
Ma tu come te ne torni con tutta questa roba? Perché appigliai, perché tanto noi mangiamo e scendiamo subito.
Sì, sì, sì. Goodbye, mom. See you later. Dio porco. It is too downwards. Well, lifting up the piece, or in general moving the whole sketch, is the most annoying first line mistake. I truly hate resketching everything all over again, especially if I got good proportions in the beginning, but maybe the sketch is too downwards, like in this case. These are the moments when I wish I had the possibility to lift everything with one tap, and also these are the moments when I blame myself for not using directly a doodle grid. I don't do it too often, not because of some street credibility bullshit. There is no shame in using a doodle grid to get orientation. It's just that I don't want to get addicted to it. I want to develop more and more my ability to sketch on a wall also without this tool. But still, when I have no time, or I don't want to struggle, or I want to be super precise, I use it. And also, if you want to use it every single time, there is no shame in it. It's just about your sensitivity, what you want to achieve, and how. Get rid of social anxiety. Well, I am halfway in with the sketch, and at the end Smo's workflow is totally failed for me. I mean, not totally, because I will still use the bucket paint to clean up, but I won't keep using the violet to refine the N. I need to use another color. Smo uses this technique to copy on the wall what he does on paper, so sketching with the pencil and erasing with the rubber. But in my case, well, I don't sketch like this. I almost not use the rubber. When I get to a point where I cannot draw anymore because I'm going crazy, I scan the sketch, I reduce the opacity, and then I sketch again with another color. And that is way closer to picking another color that contrasts with the one I have already on the wall. So yeah, I assume that a writer to make good first lines has to emulate what he does on a paper sketch. Okay, so a few more adjustments and I am done. So I am done with these first lines. It's been a struggle at the beginning, but however, I have to clean up the piece a little bit here and a little bit over the T. This because the background will be a minimal one, just a straight arrow behind the middle part of the letters, longitudinally speaking. So I cannot hide the wrong first lines with it. Sometimes for an easy background you gotta work more than for a normal one. It is as paradoxical as true. Ah, what a nice smell. I've done the first coat of bucket paint. Usually I enjoy bucket paint sessions, but today I'm very bored of this process, and honestly I don't know why. However, I have done the second coat of bucket paint, and I have to say that this color turned out to be very, very nice. Now it's time to use more bucket paint, the yellow one. So it is dry now and it needs a second layer, and after it I will also cut it back because with the brush I'm not that precise. So after too much time using non-spray painting tools, it's time for the outline using a wonderful can. I guess it's Palermo from Little advice from Vent from the future. When you start your outline, especially if you haven't been using a can for hours, well, starting from the small outlines isn't the best idea. You could burn out very easily. Fortunately, I realized I was doing a rookie mistake, and I focused on different and easier outlines. That helped me not to burn out and to get a okay-ish outline at the end. Well, making the easy outlines first also means that suddenly you will realize that you jumped from a spot to another of the piece, and now you need to paint all the outlines you disorderly left behind during the process. This could make you lose focus a little bit, but I think that this is the best method anyways, at least for my weird brain. Lately, these little lines all around the piece are becoming more and more important for my style. I'll talk a bit more about it in the final analysis. Now it's time to give to this piece a bit more of bidimensional depth. I know it's a paradox, but it's how I named this effect. Basically, I make easy overlapping shadows, neither that clean if you ask me, but they are enough to create depth. Bidimensional because the piece doesn't look 3D at all, more likely it gets some sort of graphic look, and that's how I like it. This combined with sharp highlights is very eye candy. So, I am done with the highlights, and it isn't that clean, but it's still a good piece. Now, I want to add an overline, and also I am questioning myself because I don't really know if I want to put some effects on this piece. I would do it with this color, that it is too blue, I guess. Overline. I also have this other option. I could do the overline with the color that was supposed to be the color for the effects. It is just nice and simple as it is. At this point I will try to do some effects. Hi, Mom. Mamma, ti piace il disegno?
Bello.
Okay, since my mom's happy with the piece, it's time for the reveal and the analysis. This piece is a bit more complex than usual, especially at bottom there's a lot going on, but let's go step by step. This piece is based on symmetry. Not everything is mirrored, but the key force lines, well, they are. V and T are symmetrically slanted to the upper angles. Then this flattened arrow and the half heart are both pointing down in the middle, creating a sort of V shape. That's completed on top by this straight bar, so the V shape becomes a triangle. Then this stick, and specifically this portion of it, is in the perfect center of the piece, where the center of gravity of it is located. I mean, it is not mandatory for a graffiti piece to have a center of gravity, but I think that, especially in symmetrical letter compositions, it is very important to be aware of where this is located, because it helps to balance all the force lines. If you take a random point on both the symmetrical force lines in question, and they are more or less equally distant from the center of gravity of the piece, you are probably doing a good job, at least in terms of symmetry. Obviously, you have not to fuck it up with the lettering, but that's the other 50% of the job. Besides not fucking it up, you also have to give complexity to the piece, and to do that I played a lot with flattened arrows, leads and a single chip. The flattened arrows are pointing in all the directions, and they are strategically placed on all the sides of the piece. This lead is here because otherwise there would be a negative space not really well balanced with the straight and full one occupied by the horizontal bar of the T. This one just fits well where it's placed, and this one's here because I didn't want a complete heart there, but the lead recalls the heart shape enough for it to look good and not amputated. Here there is a chip and not a lead because there wasn't enough space, and also because there would have been too many repetitions then. Maybe I could have used the chip also here afterwards, but probably the vent from the past wanted to occupy more space than a chip can do. Well, set up, analyzed, let's talk about the letters themselves. The V is very cool except for this line that's crooked. This hanging arrow is very cool, and I have to try that kind of hanging solutions definitely more often. The E is okay as well as the N, but they are slanted towards the right, and as you can see on the sketch, they were not. I mean, the E was, but way less. I have to say that the E is good in both versions, but I can say the same about the N. It had to be straight because as it is now, the piece is a bit overbalanced on the right. In general, this little slanting mistake is affecting the whole look of the piece, because if you compare the paper sketch with the real piece on the wall, you will notice that the real piece looks a bit more wobbly, and I don't know, it looks like it's going to fall apart in, I don't know, 2 seconds, especially for the middle section, and that's because of these two letters. Mostly about the N, but also the E does its part. However, altogether on the wall, it's still fine, so I don't want to focus too much about it, but I think that this one is the biggest mistake of the day. The T is as cool as simple, and I'm happy that this arrow doesn't make it look like another letter. And I am also happy that it works, it is nice, the flattened arrow I mean. The background is very okay, even if on the left is not straight, but the glance is still okay. In general, the whole look of this piece is helped so much by the color scheme, that's an eye candy, that distract the viewer from the other structural mistake, at least I think so. This pastel palette is one of my favorite color scheme of all time. Last but not least, the little lines all around the piece give it so much movement, besides being also stylish in my opinion. They help the whole look and flow of the piece to move, like to get space, and this is very important since it is very boxy already, and without lines it would be too boxy maybe. Graffiti analysis done, let's get to the cost analysis, that this time is very easy. Well, the bucket paint was taken from the trash, so it was for free. I only used leftovers for the first lines, so they are for free. I fully used the outline can, so I will count its whole cost. About the effects, well, I still have that can more than half full, at the moment I'm recording the voiceover, and it's been more than 7 months from this painting day. During this time I used tiny bits of the can for effects and shadows, so I will count only part of its cost for this piece. Same goes for the highlights can, but honestly I don't remember how many times I used it, surely more than 10 when I'm speaking, so that's what I will count. But probably I used it more than 10 times. However, as you can see, I didn't spend much for this piece, and it's a good piece after all, so I am happy. So guys, this video is coming to an end, and yeah, I want to say thank you to all of you that are still watching till the outro. If you are Vans OG, leave a like, a comment, share this video, and I hope to digitally catch up with you very soon. So, see you next time.